Hey there, I'm Andrew from Club Ready DJ School, and in this video I'm going to explain how to find and play the right kind of music for weddings, parties and private functions. I personally feel playing at weddings, parties and private functions is probably more about your song selection than actual skill. Now sure, it's great to tear it up behind the decks and be a master DJ, but ultimately people at parties are probably far more interested in your song selection, and most people probably won't even be aware of what a DJ does behind the decks at all besides playing songs. I remember once I had my partner's end of year vet ball, and basically there was a DJ there and his song selection was amazing. Everyone was having the best time. But to be honest, he was just fading between the songs. Now, the good news is for you, right? If you're nervous about playing like at weddings, functions and private parties, I'd say the standard out there is pretty low. The majority of DJs are just like playing the full songs, and when one song ends, they hit play on the next and they just fade between their songs. Now trust me, if you are really nervous, you can do this, right? But the fact is, if you're expected to play for 5 hours, hitting play and fading between songs can get boring pretty quickly, and it also limits you to playing the full song. And if you put on a song and let's say it doesn't get the best response, it would be cool if you knew how to mix out mid-song to maintain the best possible energy on your dance floor. Now, this video isn't necessarily about how to actually go and mix. This video is more about like what songs you should play and building playlists, for instance, right? But if you're unsure how to mix vocal-driven music and party songs, 100% check out my video on how to mix R&B, pop and hip hop. But this video, like I mentioned, is probably more about what songs to actually play. So personally, whenever I play at parties or any show that's going to go over 3 hours in length, I would probably arrange my music into two main playlists, one called Early and another one called Peak. Now in the Early playlist, I'd probably aim to have about 100 songs designed to create a cool mood, and in the Peak playlist, I'd just fill it like another 100 songs, but just full of all the songs that I know people love and people are going to respond well to. Now the Early playlist is actually loads of fun, as you can play all the really cool songs that wouldn't necessarily go that well when playing to a full dance floor. So I'll give you an example. I remember once I played at a wedding and in advance they told me they loved 50 Cent, right? So I put the main 50 Cent songs, like the big singles that everyone knew, in the Peak playlist. But in the Early playlist, like they gave me all this requests and I was like, wow, these are good songs, but I didn't know them. And I thought, well, if I don't know them, chances are a lot of people won't know them. So I put that into the Early playlist, where it wasn't about building a dance floor, it's just about creating a cool mood. Now when you think about it, right, there are so many cool songs that people love that aren't necessarily that great to dance to. So this Early playlist is probably more about playing like cool stuff, maybe some nostalgia that people haven't heard in a while. And if it's a wedding, maybe you could even include some love songs. Now, however though, let's say you're playing at your friend's house party and maybe they're into deeper kinds of house or even EDM. You may find at the beginning of the night you could just do your thing, right? But then, seriously, this happens all the time, I find. Don't be surprised if a few hours in, right, some girls come up requesting pop songs that they can dance and sing along to. Now let's say you're a real tech house head and that's what you play. What are you going to tell them, like, you know, when they come up? And let's say you're doing your tech house and just people are sitting around, but then people come and they want to start dancing to stuff they know. Are you going to say, sorry, I only play stuff I'm into? Or will you compromise your own style for the sake of creating atmosphere for the party? Now, personally, right, and I've seen this 1,000 times over, but my neighbors at the moment, right, they're always having parties and it always starts with house and it ends with people singing R&B and pop classics. And even if you are a dedicated house head, I honestly feel knowing how to mix vocal-driven music is a good thing to know, like it's a must really, especially when playing at non-club related events. So personally, let's say I am playing at parties or private functions. Yes, I may start with some house, but possibly more commercial house, as people do respond best to familiarity. And then as the night progresses and people start dancing, I would possibly move into my peak playlist, and this is probably full of floor fillers that I know people are going to respond well to. Like, just from experience, in time you play enough, you just get to know the big songs. So if you have no idea though what the big songs are and what songs to put into each playlist, I suggest getting some requests from the person who booked you prior to the event, and you could start by sorting those into each playlist and building the playlist around those requests. And honestly, as well as that, I would include songs that I personally feel would work well as well from experience. Now, if you need more ideas than this, just go to sites like Pinterest and basically type in top 100 wedding songs or party songs or floor fillers or songs that work best at parties and see what comes up. Like, you'd be surprised that it's pretty accurate from my opinion. Like, I've seen top 100s, I'm like, wow, they are the ones that generally go well. Now, personally, I would suggest approaching songs that you like, right, with caution. Like, if they're popular songs, sure, include them. But let's say you're an inspiring club DJ and you love EDM and big room and bounce and all that, and all your friends also love that, right? But I'm not sure that I'd ever play that kind of music at weddings, as this could make the mood at the event way more serious and it could isolate some of the older crowd. You want to keep the atmosphere fun, and this means playing songs that are fun, upbeat and familiar to everyone. Be careful of niching out. You need to wave between styles, I feel. So I was running clubs, right, personally, pretty much straight after school. It's just something I fell into and it came very naturally to me. But I had moments, especially when I was building new events, that I needed more money, and quite often I did do function work and weddings on the side. Now, the fact is there is really good money in function work and for weddings, and you could walk away with close to $1,000 to DJ for 5 hours. Now, even though the parties and bars, I'd always get like about 500 at least, right? But here's the thing. I never got to play stuff I was personally into. But in saying that, being a good DJ is all about creating atmosphere and the feelings that come from packing dance floors and having people cheering for more and having a lot of fun. It's really amazing. Like, I actually loved it. Like, it's something that I've always done. So even if I am playing songs I'm not necessarily into, it's just the atmosphere feeding off that. So personally, I remember once I turned up to play at a uni party in Sydney. And for this event, like, I was on a lineup with other DJs and I was the last DJ of the night. Anyway, I turned up like early, right, to watch the DJ before me, to get a feel for what was working on the night, right, with the crowd. And also, I'd always go early to watch the DJ before me to just assure that I don't play songs that have just been played. But anyway, in this case, the DJ before me was playing heavy trap. Now, even though I loved it, and I actually thought this DJ was amazing, the dance floor was 100% completely empty and everyone was outside on the smoking balcony. Anyway, my turn to play came up and the DJ before me asked me what I planned to do. And to be honest, after doing events like this 1,000 times before, I said to him, hey, I'm just going to give them what they want. And I started playing more familiar music, and within minutes, had the dance floor pumping. And by the end of my set, everyone was on the dance floor. And when I finished, people were screaming encore. And it was a really, really great feeling. Now, even though personally I preferred the DJ before me and the songs he was playing, I could play songs to myself at home anytime I liked, right? And I felt what the party needed was actually just more music that people kind of liked. And to be honest, I had a really good time as the energy in the room was amazing. Now, what would you do in that position? Do you stay true to your sound at the expense of no one caring about what you're playing? Or do you compromise your style for the sake of the party? Now, there is no right or wrong answer. But if you DJ enough, you're going to surely be faced with such a choice. And I guess the key is to find some kind of balance, especially if you're playing at a friend's house party or want to impress everyone there and help connect and bring people together through music. But if you're open to, like, say, doing weddings, then your own personal taste really shouldn't come into it. Anyway, man, DJing regardless, it's amazing. Personally, I grew up, I guess, into the heavier stuff, right? And that kind of has now gone into a lot of the deeper stuff now. I like actually mixing deep because then I can really play the songs together and, do a lot of EQ work, which I love. But I'll be honest, I've done a lot of parties as well, and that's, usually going into vocal driven, well known songs. And even though I don't listen to a lot of that song stuff in my personal time, I'll be honest, like playing to full crowds and having people going off, it can be really addictive. And I think to be able to DJ everything, it's just going to be really, really good for you. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully that's helped you. Let me know, comment below if you have any questions. Please subscribe to keep in touch. And I've got some links below where I've got some courses and that, and also some free material as well on my website. So anyway, it's great. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your support.